old, and I am a freshman at UNC Charlotte, and I'm studying psychology, and I want to go to school and eventually go to med school and become a psychiatrist. But it's taken me a long way to get there, and it will be a lot longer. But taking me back, I have two sisters and a beautiful mom. I have a sister who is 24, and she has special needs, and then I have a younger sister who's 17, and she's sitting right there. But taking me back to 2001, my dad got in a near fatal car accident, and he broke his back and neck and hips and ribs, if you name it, he broke it basically. And it was a really pivotal moment, but we knew we were going to get through it. I didn't really have a relationship with Christ, but we went to church. And then fast forward to my 5th grade year, we started going to Kingsway, and I met all these wonderful people. But I still didn't have a true relationship with Christ. And then my 10th grade year, my dad hadn't been feeling well. And he went to the doctor, got some tests done. They said everything was going to be okay. Said there was no issues, everything looked fine. And then he came home. That was a Saturday, and on Sunday morning, he woke up not feeling well. We didn't go to church because he wasn't feeling well, but I went to another church with a friend. And I came home that afternoon. I saw him for the last time, and he was laying on the couch, told me he wasn't really feeling well. And I said, well, don't you think you should go to the doctor? And he said, they said everything's going to be fine. And he said, I've already been. They said everything's going to be fine. And I said, so they're just going to wait until you die, joking around. And he was like, I guess so. And it really did happen. That awful dream came true, and I came home that night, and I pulled up to my driveway, and there was ambulances and fire trucks in the driveway, and I knew instantly that was my dad. And I walked into my house, and my mom was sitting in there, and she was the rep, and the EMT lady said, I can't get your mom calmed down long enough to tell her this, but we can't get the tubes down your dad's throat to start his heart back up, but I promise you that we're going to do whatever we can to make it happen again. And I knew then that everything was going to be okay. And I remember looking at my mom and her telling me, we're going to take it one day at a time. And she knew that he was gone, and I didn't yet know that. And we got to the hospital and went in the awful waiting room, and we had to wait for the doctor to come back. And they came back and said, we did everything we could, but unfortunately your dad didn't make it. And that was the most awful thing that I've ever heard in my entire life up to this point. And to see my sisters, or my sister at the time, just my younger sister was there, crying and gasping because she couldn't breathe. And I knew at that moment that I needed to be the strength. I needed to rely on the Lord. I could go down the wrong path, or I could go down the right path and rely on Him. And so that's what I chose to do. And then we started relying more on church, and my relationship with Christ started building through that troubled time. And then my senior year, about a year ago now, or a little over a year ago, we found out that my mom had breast cancer. 2 types of breast cancer, one a rare and one not so rare. And that was another time in my life where I was like, God, what are you doing? I don't understand, but I really never, ever, ever feared my mom's life. I knew that she was going to be okay. I knew God had it because I trusted in Him. And so my relationship with Christ, through that, strengthened more. I went through 3 surgeries with her, and every time I would go back into the pre-op room, and I knew I need to be her strength. I can't cry, because if I cry, then I know she's going to cry, and she's going to know I'm scared, and so I needed to be the strength until I got out of the pre-op room. And then that was when I ran for Russell or for David Snow to just give him a hug and get that dad hug that I didn't have any longer. And we went through all 3 of those surgeries and ended with poor results, and then went through chemo and radiation, and she came through it, and now cancer's in remission. Right in the time of finding out she had cancer and going through that process, I met Crystal Snow. And she's not here right now, so I'm going to brag about her because I know she wouldn't want me to if she was here. But she changed my whole outlook on my life and how I live for Christ. Totally and completely. She is the reason I am the way I am today. And she showed me that what is your purpose for living if you don't have a purpose to live for Christ. If you're not living for Christ every single day and every decision that you make every single day, then what are you living for? And through her, we started the circle. She said, let's start a circle. And so we started praying about it. And then she really got me engaged with the way and helping in the cafe at the way and started to do that. So now our circle, we have our circle, and it's for teenage girls or college-age girls. So if there's any of you out there, please come. It's fun, and it's on Sunday nights. You can just talk to me or talk to Crystal, but she really did help me out. And our circle has really helped each one of us through trials, because every single one of us goes through trials. And everyone goes through trials, but every single one of us in our group has really formed a bond to help us get through those trials. And so that's what our circle is all about.